Joining me now, Victor Davis Hanson, Senior Fellow at the Hoover Institution, and Batya Ungar-Sargon, Newsweek Opinion Editor. Victor, let's start with you. What do they fear most at Davos about Trump?
Well, that was very strange because the Davos people that run it, he shredded every one of their most cherished ideas, you know, open borders, illegal immigration, New Green Deal. He just shredded. I thought their heads were going to explode when he called it the New Green Scam, and he called oil liquid gold. So I thought the questions were going to be so angry. But, you know, I looked at them very carefully after I heard them on the transcript, and Schwartzman and Moynihan, all these international big bankers were kind of like, well, we're not supposed to say this, but are you serious? You're really going to give us liquid natural gas? You're not going to cut it off if the no. Trump said, no, my word is my bond. I will give it to you. Are you really serious that you're going to encourage investment? And it was almost like what he did with the tech lords on the domestic area. He put, you know, when he got Andreessen and he got Elon and Bezos, and he basically said, I want you to make us rich. Go to it. And they thought, wow, we're not supposed to like this, but it's great. And these bankers were kind of shocked, like, we're Davos people, we're supposed to get angry, but the more we hear this, and I know it's a little over the top, they thought, but it's, wow, he's going to let us make money and we're going to have capitalism free and the United States is going to really back us up and give us all the liquid natural gas we want, and there's going to be, I got the impression that the Davos people that run it were pretty shocked that he won over the people who are asking him the questions, which basically are the world's financiers. I think they're actually secretly happy that he's there, because they understand that he's a capitalist, and he's their capitalist dream.
I just love the fact that he zoomed in. I just like treating it like any other office meeting, Batya. That just cracked me up. The screen above the crowd, it was like Charlie's Angels. I thought it was disembodied voice. But the Spanish Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, excuse me, he talked about the digital identity wallet, the European digital identity wallet. Let's listen.
We are allowing people to roam freely on social networks without linking their profiles to a real identity. If we must push forward the principle of pseudonymity as the functioning element of social media, and force all these platforms to link every user account to an European digital identity wallet.
Batya, explain what that would be in the age of the new tech world that we live in. What would that be, a digital identity? What's the problem with that?
Sorry, that's not going to fly here. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave. What we just oversaw was the total capitulation of the global elites to Donald Trump, the tribune of the American working class. The same people who have endlessly mocked him and laughed at him and booed him and tried to destroy him are now on their knees, Laura, begging for a scrap of his approval. And the reason for that is what you led with. They are terrified of him because Donald Trump's vision that nation states must exist, that national borders are crucial, and that a nation owes something to its citizens, this view has simply triumphed over their view that you can endlessly pillage the middle class and the working class economically and culturally. They think you measure the health of an economy based on how many private jets a billionaire has, and Trump thinks you measure the health of an economy based on whether that billionaire's cleaning lady and plumber can afford to buy a home. And it's Donald Trump's nationalism that is winning the day, thank God. You love to see it. It is just delicious.
Well, one thing is for sure, Victor, a lot of those elites gathered at Davos, their ideas were responsible for wrecking the world, whether it was foreign policy, nonstop wars, open borders. They're still pushing for unfettered migration and support for migration, the handling of the pandemic, the lies about gain of function. I mean, what haven't they wrecked, frankly, except their own portfolios?
Well, they're suicidal. Europe is suicidal. When the EU was formed, their GDP was almost like ours, and now we're almost double. And they did that through a national collective suicide. But again, I think all of these Davos masters were a little shocked because Donald Trump talked over their heads and he appealed to the innate logic of these capitalist bankers. And he's basically saying, you know, I like you guys, but you don't understand who's your friend and what's in your interest, and it's the MAGA. And I'm here to help you. Join us because I wouldn't want you to suffer if you don't, and you will suffer, just like you did to yourself. And that's a very powerful argument. I think the Davos shepherds thought that the sheep are going, you know, wandering away from their control to Donald Trump. I think he won a lot of people over, even with that tough talk, and they didn't like it, but the bunkers and the financiers and the international people loved it.
Well, what was hilarious to watch close up was Javier Milei in that St. John Church on Inauguration Day for the service in the morning. You know, people were just flocking to him. And he walked by the vice premier of China, right, who nobody paid any attention to. People were just, Maloney and Milei, people just wanted to be close to. I think we have a soundbite from Javier. Let's watch.
Slowly, what once seemed like the absolute global hegemony of the woke left in politics, educational institutions, in the media, in supranational organizations, or even in forums like Davos, has begun to crumble. And a hope for the ideas of freedom is starting to emerge.
Batya, real quickly on that. I mean, George Maloney, the rest of these populist leaders are the future.
They absolutely are, Laura, and the reason for that is because they love the people that they represent. The elites absolutely hate the working class. They have so much contempt for them. And you can tell when a leader loves the people and serves the people. That is what Donald Trump represents, is this return of service. I am here to represent what the people elected me to do.
Yeah, well, and they'll raise the boogeyman of disinformation and misinformation, as Klaus Schwab has done, and the fact that Trump went right at that today was just music to my ears. I could have watched that all day long. Victor, Batya, both, thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.